Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday afternoon, which means it's time for us to be talking about coping with feelings. And boy, have I been coping with my fair share this week, and I'm pretty sure you have as well. By the way, for those of you who celebrated, happy Good Friday. I don't know why that always sounds so strange to say happy Good Friday when we think about what Good Friday is all about. But I am pretty sure that that is the right way to look at it. Hi there, Jeannie. Good to see you. Glad to hear that York has improved, and that is awesome. You know, I think there's an awful lot of cooking going on in a lot of Christian homes today, and so I hope you enjoy your spiral ham with your Brussels sprouts and asparagus and scallop potatoes and squash. Yeah, it's just like how much food can we consume, right? And I want to say that it has been really my pleasure this week to have lots of feelings of friendship. I would have to say that if I had one feeling for which I was very grateful this week, it was the feeling of friendship from my neighbors here at the community where I live. You know, it was so funny because one of them said to me yesterday, you know, so you were so scared that when you came here that there wasn't any community, and yet you created it for us all. Isn't that beautiful? And she said, and we're so happy to have you back because we're pretty sure that the fun and games are about to begin. And I thought that was just like, that was just so important for people to, if they remembered me for one thing, it was for the fact that I brought community back to the community, if you like. I need my coffee. Hi, Charlotte. Thank you so much for welcoming me home. It's been 1 week today, and I've come a long way. For those of you who don't know, a week ago, the boxes on top of this were up above my head, and they were 2 deep. The boxes here where I'm standing were way above my head, and they were 3 deep. And that was just in the kitchen. And now I am down to maybe 6 boxes in my bedroom. I have got 3, I think, boxes in my living room stroke fireplace area, you know, where I do the Sunday afternoon broadcast from. I'm thinking in the craft room, I just about finished. And I've got quite a few boxes still in the studio because I'm trying to construct the bookcases into which I will, or in fact, the cubies into which I will put the stuff. But I'm really very happy with my progress. It's been quite something. And I wanted to tell you about some of it along the way today. But before we do, has anybody got any input that they would like me to talk about, or anything that they would like to share before I get into all the wonderful feelings I've had this week? How have your feelings been this week? You know, did you have any joy? Did you have any drama? Did you have anything that made you feel alive? Because I'd like to think that that's what feelings do. They make you feel alive, don't they? Good or bad? It's interesting. Jodi's saying it's just so inspiring to see you back in your bright, lovely kitchen, Sal. It makes me smile. Well, I assure you that it would not have made you smile yesterday. I actually sent, actually, Jodi, I think I sent you some pictures of it. The whole of this worktop was full of stuff that needed to be put away. The whole of that area at the back there was full of stuff that needed to be put away, including the area where the oven is and around the corner. And I said to Jodi, this is called motivation. I know it will be clean. I know it will be clean for the broadcast. So, and I just systematically worked my way around it. And it took me about an hour, I think, but I got it done, and it put on a few more steps in the process. I mean, that's how I look at it. So tell me something. How has your week been? If you had to think about it, has it been a good week for you? And if so, why? My biggest joy, actually, I've got a couple of challenges going on for my biggest joy. Just hold on 1 second, because I know you guys like to see the pictures. The number one, or one of the two things that brought me the biggest joy had to be, and I don't know if you can see this, but the shower doors are on in my shower. Now, again, I don't know if you can see it, but those shower doors are like on big, let me see if I can, yes, I can. They're on big stainless steel rollers. Can you see that? And the guy that put them in was so OCD. It was wonderful. You know, to have somebody that cared that much about anything. I don't know about you, but it was wonderful. And he did not leave until those shower doors were perfect. And now, I mean, with tears in my eyes, literally. And now, if I want to open my shower door, I can do it with one finger. And you know, look at that, how big that plate of glass is. All right? And that's a huge plate of glass that literally I can move with a finger. And I thought that was pretty impressive. The time he took to clean it all, you know what I mean? Clean every single mark off the glass. It was just like, I wrote an email about this guy and said, just incredible. All right, so Jeannie's saying, I bought a used toaster online, then had to throw it out because when it made sparks the first time we tried to use it. Oh, that's not very safe, is it? And buy $5, but not a huge loss. Yes, I think that's a good way to look at it. It's an investment in safety rather than toast. Jody's saying, it's been a good week, joyous that I've been able to indulge in some baking and looking forward to Easter. Yes, isn't that wonderful? So you're probably going to ask me, have I showered in it yet? And the answer is yes, I have been in the shower, and it was magnificent. But, hold on now. But you remember I told you they've got the shower head on the wrong wall? Well, when I was unpacking, I found out I've got the shower head that I need for the other wall. You know, which is like, I don't know why I ever bought it. But it's like a 5 different thing shower head, complete with its own hose and everything else. So instead of having to pay a fortune, I already have half the work done. I just need them to fit the adapter that it will go in, and I'm geo for go. Very exciting. What is it like to shower in a shower that big? Wonderful. You know, literally, sort of like, you know, if the water is too hot or something, you've got room to walk away from it. You know, that I always think that's a safety thing. I was really concerned because I'm on well water here, that maybe it would stain the glass badly. So far, it hasn't. That, you know, I haven't had a lot of problem with residue on the glass. But you know what I was thinking? Because you know that Mrs. MacGyver part of me. I was thinking, can you use Rain-X on shower doors? That is the question that I wondered. And, you know, that's something I'm going to look into, seeing as Jody's just gone off to, unless somebody's very quick on the research now that Jody's not available at this moment. You know, is it possible to use Rain-X on shower doors? Because if so, wouldn't that be a great thing to use, just to put a film on in them so that, but I'm scared that they will streak or something. But anyway, the main thing is Well, they don't streak on your windshield, so why would it streak on your shower? Oh, she's on hold. That's a good thing, Jody. Or could you make a note for me to check it after the broadcast? Because that part, Mrs. MacGyver part of me thought, why don't I use Rain-X on this thing? I've got a dirty great jug of it for my artwork. So that was my number one great joy. It took them some hours to install it all, but boy, when they were finished, I was just like, thank you so much. And by the way, because I am who I am, I said, guys, just before you go, could you do me a really big favor? And they sort of looked at me and said, and I said, there's this tiniest little screw that needs to go into the toilet roll holder in my guest bathroom. And I can't for the life of me get it to work. And I just wondered if one of you could try it. Maybe it needs a man. And yeah, it did. Apparently, it was quite funny. Yeah, Jody's saying, I'd say yes because they made the shower door water repellent. Exactly. Kimmy's also saying, yes, Rain-X can be used on glass shower doors without any etching to achieve the benefits of Rain-X water beading in a shower. Yes! We will be doing experiments, people. I got a feeling you're going to want me to do part of it with Rain-X and then part of it, just leave it so you can see the difference, right? Anyway, so the problem is though with the well water, makes it really has a lot of minerals in it. So I'm hoping that it will work. All right. So having said that bit, that was only part of my great week. The biggest joy came yesterday, and that was that my bed arrived. Now, I don't know if I told you guys that, what happened was they delivered my mattress, but the base of my mattress, which was an adjustable bed frame, never arrived. And I kept saying, where's my bed frame? Because there's, not much point in having a mattress on the floor when you're my age. And eventually it turned out that it was on the list of things to be destroyed. And I said, that would have been nice to know some time ago. And they thought they had advised me, but they hadn't. And so I had to order up a new bed. Now, here was the interesting thing. I'm always talking about, check things out before you do these purchases. My original bed cost me a fortune. I can't quite remember how much, but it was a multiple of thousands. I've got a feeling it was sort of like $4,000. And I bought it at a very well-known sleep shop. And that was like 20 years ago. So I was pretty sure that I was going to struggle a bit in terms of cost. And so I phoned up that same organization and I said, I'm looking for a new adjustable bed. Can you let me know what's available? And this woman said, well, I'd have to check with the warehouse and do this, that, and the other, and da-da-da. And I went, okay, fine. And then I said, I'm looking for something, sort of, if possible, in sort of less than a couple of thousand. And she said, oh, well, that really limits it. And I thought, okay. And just everything about the conversation I was having with them was not pleasing me. Do you know what I mean? I felt like I had just done a terrible thing by telling them I didn't want to spend, another $5,000. And then I said, something, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I think what I'm going to go and do and see what is available online, because I've got a feeling in the time it's taken me to get this far in our conversation, I probably could have bought one by now. And that is exactly what I did. I went online and I started to research at the obvious place. And I managed to get, if you can believe this, I managed to get a bed frame, a queen size bed frame that had a German motor. Now, I don't want to get too picky on this, but it's like I believe in German products being, on the whole, very well made. Anyway, it's got a German motor in it. It has has underbed lighting. So if you accidentally kick something under the bed, you can turn the light on under the bed to see where it is. It also allows you to see the dust bunnies, which probably is a negative, but it also is high enough that Clarence the cleaner can get under there. And by the way, the motor doesn't sit all the way down on the floor, which basically is what my other one did. So Clarence the cleaner, that's my robot, by the way. Clarence the cleaner couldn't get underneath where the motor area was. This one is just got a clean area under the bed, which means I can store things under the bed, which means Clarence the cleaner can get in there before I start storing things in there. On each side, listen to this one. This goes to show you what's happening these days in how things have changed. On each side of the bed, it's got 2 USB ports. You want to plug your phone in, plug it into the bed. I literally had, hi Sandy, I had all sorts of things plugged in. It was just like amazing. And then, does it do anything? Well, it does so many different things that it would blow your mind. First of all, there is a button for zero gravity. Zero gravity. In other words, it automatically puts you in a position where your spine is taking the least possible pressure while you're sleeping. And it's just one button. It automatically is, and it just, and I can't remember what it is. The head goes up this much and the feet go up this much. And then it ends up with what they call zero gravity, right? If you want to watch TV, you press the TV button and it puts the head right up so you can watch TV. Of course, I like to watch TV with my eyes closed, but if I haven't got that far yet. I don't have a TV going yet. And then what else does it do? But anyway, it's got more buttons than I've had hot dinners. Does it make me coffee in the morning? Good question, Charles. Not yet, but I'm certain I could plug a USB in there. And then, listen to this, guys. And then it has a massage function on the top side and the bottom side, 2 different ones. So you can literally, I did that last night. It was so cute. Just, as I was ready to go to sleep, I turned on the massage thing and I sort of got the going the right thing at my feet and my back, which was sore. And I fell asleep. And it does it for so many minutes. And I fell fast asleep. So how many of you know that is one heck of a bed? And I don't know how much you would pay for a bed that does all of that. Now, I think about it. Thanks, Neasha. Thank you and welcome. And thank you for welcoming me home. I don't know about you, but I spend half my life in bed. And that is a very important part of my life, is my bed, especially at my age. And so I wondered whether you would like to take a guess at how much a bed like that, with all those bells and whistles, costs today. Without the mattress, I'd already bought the mattress before. And by the way, I bought hang on a second. I want to draw you a pretty picture on this one. I bought a foam mattress. But the foam is in coils going up. Does that make sense? And then it has a foam topper on it, but these are foam coils, if you like, like vertical blocks of foam that go up, which gives it incredible support, wherever you are. And, I want to tell you, it is so comfy. And so I managed to get that. mattress for I think I paid about $250 Canadian, which is pretty good going, I thought, in this day and age. And the reason that I wanted to do that is because I do know from experience that an adjustable bed is hard on mattresses because it's always bending in different shapes and things. And so that is a really important thing. So here's the thing, that bed with under bed lighting, with I'm looking at the bed so I can remember, the USB ports on the side, both head and feet, shifting automatically. You don't have to do it. You just press one button, what you wanted. Then what else did I say? The massage, head and feet. I got it for just, I think, under $800. And the other store was offering me an absolute basic for $1,500. Now, I don't know about you, but that is a good deal. And it took a week to get to me. And that was the good news. Because once it got to me, I couldn't move it. The box was so heavy that I couldn't move it. Now, you know me, I don't ask for help easily. Yes, so just so that you guys understand this, that I managed to get both the bed and the mattress for under $1,000. I will put up the link to it if any of you are interested. Jody will remind me, and I will put up the link to it because it really, I want to tell you something, but you're going to need help. You can't do it, and you can't move it on your own. I literally had to go and visit the neighbors. Do you remember that one neighbor? That is so funny because he's got this attitude, right? So I knocked on his door and he opened it and he went, "Oh, you," and he slammed it again. And it was so cute. And then he opened it up again and I'm standing there like this. And he said, "Oh, God," he said, "you need help, don't you?" And I went, "Yeah." Anyway, I managed. What size was it? It's queen size. I want to tell you something. I am really impressed. Anyway, so bless their hearts. Bless their hearts. The two neighbors, and funny enough, too, that one of them I don't normally call on, but yeah, I was desperate. And they came and they helped me put it together. And then I did what I thought was a really smart thing. I wrote to the wives because I noticed both the wives were missing. They'd gone out shopping or something, who knows where they were. But I wrote to the wives and I said, "I want to tell you that I get to sleep on a bed tonight for the first time in a week because of the gracious kindness of your husbands. Thank you. Please give them an extra hug from me." And it's called, let them hear it from their wives, how appreciative I was. I thanked them, but, really. So then I managed to get all the bed put together. Okay, you want to see that, I'm sure. So now the shower, you've seen that picture. And now, bear with me a second. Okay, for Sandy, that's my shower. All the shower doors are in, it's just now the shower heads that I've got to change, but that's all going well. And then let me find the one of the bed for you. So here it is with Pat's beautiful quilt on it. And I'm still, waiting to get bedside tables and things. So I'm still making a plan with all of that, but I got a bed, people. And you remember a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about I had bought these lights. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find the picture of that for you. Yes, I bought these lights to go next to my bed. What do you think? Oop. Yeah, Pat's quilting talent is quite something, isn't it? And I want to tell you, as soon as I put that bed together, I took the picture and immediately sent it to Pat and said, "Thank you, your quilt is home." Well, so here we look at it and you go, it's been a huge emotional week in so many ways, but I'm starting to get there. And that's what I wanted to let you know. One of the other things that I really want to talk about is, do you know that even though your mind forgets things, that your body doesn't? I'm certain some of you have heard me tell the stories about that that I went back to ride on a horse and do dressage, which is where they do all the fancy stuff. And I remember that the instructor seemed to think I had way more talent than I do. And she kept saying to me, "Sal, when you get to point A, do X, Y, and Z." And I said, "I don't remember how to do that." And she said, "Just don't even think about it. When you get there, just do it. Your body will remember." And she was absolutely right. It was the most amazing thing that when I got to the point that she wanted me to, my body just shifted and boom, the horse was so well trained that it did exactly what it was meant to. And it is amazing how, yes, Charlotte's saying the same thing. Running is one thing, or riding my bike after 20 years of not riding. Yes. Now, let me tell you what happened to me. I literally, at one stage, had about 20 different mason jars sitting on my countertop. And this is while they were helping me unpack. And the person unpacking said, "Where do you keep these?" And I said, "I don't know." It was so weird. After 6 months of not having them, I use these a lot instead of plastic containers. And I said, "I really don't know." And then what I did, and I was really proud of myself for that. I picked up, sorry, I'm reading something Jeannie said at the same time. Jeannie said our home guy was doing sheetrock work. Electricity was supposed to come on 401, and that's our progress. Okay, so you're getting closer. Anyway, so what I did is I picked up one jar and I walked to the dishwasher. And I pretended I'd just taken it out of the dishwasher, and my body opened this drawer, and I went, "That is where I keep the mason jars." And then there was something else that I didn't know where I kept it. So guess what I did? I went to the dishwasher, pretended to take it out of the dishwasher, and my body took me to a drawer over here. And so, isn't that amazing that your body remembers, even if your mind doesn't? Yes, memory, body recognition. All right. And so, what I wanted you to do is to remember that, not only for yourself, but maybe if you've got aging parents, like myself, or somebody with that, which is remind them that if they hold it, they might remember better. All right, because the mind will be controlled by the body at that point. The other thing that I have found absolutely amazing is, I keep a little container in the house here for scraps of things I want to put in my compost. And I have two different compost things. I have one for the sort of weeds and stuff that I get out of the garden and we'll go in there and leaves and things like that. And then I have another one, which is a food scraps one. And I also put leaves, I got to be the only person that collected the leaves and kept them. And I kept them because I want them to go into my compost. I use them as mulch. And I use them in my containers as mulch. So, okay, Charlotte, good to see you. And one of the things that I found fascinating was I go out to the compost twice a day, and there's something about going out there and having, I've got those tiered vegetable gardens at the back, and I just have not yet managed to empty the compost where I didn't stop and weed a bit more in the tiered gardens and thoroughly enjoy it. It's really weird. It's like there's something very cathartic, something very relaxing about just, grabbing a hoe and just quietly, digging another trench ready for seedlings that I haven't actually got going yet, but I will. And so it is an amazing experience to me to realize how much my body enjoys playing in the garden. Isn't it weird? Can any of you relate to that at all? I don't know if any of you have gardens that you care for. There's something about just getting out in the fresh air and just, while I'm here, I think I will just weed the next section. It's, I don't know how to describe it, but it's very peaceful. I can tell you that. And I'm loving it. I don't know if any of you have been following the Mars expedition. And yes, just saying gardening relaxes the mind. Yes, it's something about being close to nature. Yes, and that's why I said, Nyasha, I would really recommend that you do it while you can. I know that your eyesight isn't the best, but, I just think you would enjoy the process because it is so relaxing. And not only that, it's very nurturing. You're trying to get something to grow from nothing. It's a nurturing thing. And I think you have a very large nurturing component to you, Nyasha. And that's why I've always recommended that you look into maybe doing some, and maybe just taking seeds that you've got from stuff that comes into the house, whether it's doesn't really matter what it is. Just try growing something and see how you do. For those of you who've been following the Mars expedition, I got quite excited this week. They are about to launch the helicopter. I don't know if you know, but they actually attached a drone type helicopter to that thing that landed on Mars. I can't remember its name. Perseverance, I think, or something. Anyway, whatever the little module is that landed on Mars about a month ago, they actually had this small helicopter, and they've been getting it ready. And this week they will do the test flight of it. I don't know why that's so exciting to me. There's something about how is it going to work? With the gravity. Zero gravity. How do they keep it? I don't know. You guys will tell me. I had a really good week in meals. First of all, by the way, I wanted to let you know, it is the Perseverance. Thanks, Jody. The Perseverance rover, it's called. Anyway, I'm not sure what the helicopter's called. Does the helicopter have another name? Heli? We'd call it Heli, right? Because we're not. But I don't know why I'm so excited to see that thing actually fly. Anyway, so food. I don't know about you guys, Sandy. I don't know how you're doing. I hear in Ontario they've got some pretty strong restrictions going as well, and I'm certain that you probably have in Quebec. I want to tell you that in BC we have now closed down the restaurants again. So there's a spike going on that, there has to be a pretty severe spike for them to do that. And that means no Sunday Chinese, unless we order it in. But, I hear that they don't like to order in because it's cold by the time it gets to you. Anyway, so, but what we did do is that Betty Ann, my neighbor next door here, she cooked turkey this week. Yum, yum. And we had turkey dinner. And I want to tell you, it was so good. And I don't know about you guys, but I love gravy. There's to me, you know, a good meal is when you can the gravy and you know, I don't know why that is. I must have grown up with gravy, and I know some people, you know, some people didn't, but in my household, gravy was a major part of the meal, and so and Betty Ann makes the greatest gravy, and so I want to tell you, I had a plate full of food. Ingenuity is the name of the helicopter. Heli, the I for ingenuity. Yes, okay. Thank you, Jody. For those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin, and she just saves my bacon all the time. Thanks, Jody. Anyway, so how many of you like gravy? Yes, Sandy's saying, I love my mum's gravy. It spikes me, though. All right, well, this is what I wanted to tell you. Isn't it strange, Sandy? For those of you who don't know, a few of the viewers, including myself, I'm pre-diabetic, but a few of my viewers are full-blown diabetics. And so it's important to, you know, what foods spike you and which ones don't. Jeannie's saying York, her husband, loves raisin sauce on ham. You see, this is the whole thing. And I grew up, I don't know if any of you know about this, and I didn't do it, but I grew up with bread sauce with turkey and onion sauce with lamb. And I can still make them both, but I don't do it very often. But I very nearly made bread sauce to go with that turkey. But, you know, the other thing is, you know, when you sit down at Betty Ann's place for food, there are more bowls of food than you've ever seen hot dinners. And, you know, it's like she has pickles and she has beets and she had coleslaw and she had, you know, it was just like, it, you know, as well as, you know, the mashed potato and all the other normal things. She had this, you know, absolutely amazing array of food. And then the reason I'm saying this is because then as we went on to dessert, which was sour cherry pie, a la mode, yeah, the ice cream. But as we were eating that, she said, by the way, guys, you're all invited back tomorrow. And I went, what? And she said, because we got leftovers, so you're all invited back tomorrow. Because my favorite thing with turkey is to make a turkey pasta the next day. And so there's going to be plenty of it, so come on over. I went, okay, I'm not going to complain. Oh, it was good. Do any of you do that? And I don't know whether she did it in like mushroom soup or what it was that was in there. I have to check with her, but it was really tasty. You know, and very finely cut up vegetables and the turkey, all baked in a spaghetti dish. Yum. Nothing to complain about there. And I finished the cherry pie the second day. But, you know, what I realized, Jody is saying the very thing I was about to say. Jody's saying, I was just thinking, imagine her joy at creating that beautiful meal. Jeannie's saying, is it turkey tetrazzini? I don't know if that's what it's called. It probably is, but I just want to tell you, I've never had it before, and I want to tell you it was great. Very, very tasty. Yeah, so, and then she did a beautiful spinach salad with it that was very healthy with feta cheese and yum, yum. It was, you know, so yeah, definitely worth thinking about. And I love the leftover meals. I don't know about you guys. I always like hearing about what do you do with the leftovers, because people are so creative. And, you know, I must admit, if I have a spiral of ham, I think Jeannie was saying that she's going to be having a spiral of ham. I always, you know, cut it in slices, continue to carve it, And then I pack the slices in baggies or in wrap of two, in two slices. In other words, a portion size for me. And I was amazed. I want to go back to the comment about the gravy spiking the blood sugar. I want to tell you, I had that turkey meal and I had, I would say, a 3/4 second helping. You know, in other words, I had more turkey, I had more mashed potato, I had more gravy, obviously. I had more, some of the vegetables, not all of them. And I was amazed that my blood sugar was fairly decent the next morning. I think it was, you know, a little bit elevated to in the 7. Hang on, what's 7 in American? Hang on a second. About 129. I think it was about 7.2 the next morning. And so my feeling was that considering how much I'd eaten, and I had the cherry pie and ice cream, that wasn't bad. And then the next night, I had the spaghetti thing and had seconds, of course. And by the way, we are training Betty Ann to overcook her spaghetti. And in fact, a number of meals. The other neighbor on, that's our pod, right? Betty Ann and her husband and the neighbors either side, we are one pod. Because he's single and I'm single, and therefore that's our little pod of people that we allow ourselves to interact with. And the neighbor on the other side, he also likes those crispy bits on the edges. What about you guys? To me, it's just like, remember to just overbake it a little bit, Betty Ann, you know, just so we can have those crispy bits on the corner. You know? Jeannie's saying she freezes extra ham as well in more than one container, leaving out some to use for the next few days. Yeah, and Jody's saying, yeah, crispy gets a thumbs up from me. Well, guess what? That when she did the spaghetti, the edges were a little bit crispy, and I just died and went to heaven. I went, oh, look at that. We got crispy edges. And so, you know, Brian, Betty Ann's husband, was dishing out for me, and I said, make sure you get a corner. Brian, please get a corner. Yeah, and I'll take the second one on my next run. But, you know, to go back to something that Jody was saying about that she could feel how much Betty Ann gets joy out of cooking. I want to tell you that is so true. And the other neighbor on the other side, his name's Laurie, and he he's really smart. All the time he's cooking, eating, you can hear him go, oh, It's just like, and you can just see Betty Ann sitting there going, and so it is wonderful to be able to go and visit and enjoy the food. And I have to tell you, because it's important, that the greatest difficulty I had was when I sat down to eat. It was great. Now, I know what you're thinking, which is, you know, I had so much I couldn't get up again, but I couldn't get up again because my bones were too sore. And I want to just take that moment to talk about that reality. The moving twice in a year and unpacking a whole household twice in a year has taken its toll on me, no doubt about it. And when I sat down to eat, I was, you know, doing pretty well because I was still moving. But after sitting down to eat, you know, I struggled to get back up vertical. My bones were so sore. And it's like, I'm okay if I don't stop. Do any of you know what I'm talking about? But once I stop, then my body just seizes. And, you don't want to spend your life on anti-inflammatories, but obviously I needed to take some more. Jeannie's saying, I also pack up 2 portions for one guest who doesn't enjoy cooking. I think that's a wonderful idea. And Jeannie says, I don't bake well, but I find tiramisu at my store on sale and it will be delicious. Yes. Now, Jody is a baker amongst many other things. And so her greatest joy, and I think that's the thing I want to make sure we all understand, that it is okay. It is okay to enjoy cooking, and it's okay to go and thoroughly enjoy eating somebody's cooking. Kimmy, I'm sorry I didn't answer that question. I did ask it earlier. Kimmy's asked me, do I still have my fireplace? Yes, I do. And what they did, and I was explaining that in one of the broadcasts, when they got the roof off, they could see that part of the stack that is meant to take the used fumes out of the house, that stack wasn't connected. And what they did is they made sure it was connected, and now I'm safe. And so now my fireplace is still there. I've got to get it cleaned. The glass is dirty, but that's about the only thing. And quite honestly, I've got a feeling in my last house I did that myself. And I probably won't do it this year, but I will do that. Did I know that? No, I did not know that, Sandy. That was something, I think you all heard me say, I'm a great believer there are no coincidences and nothing happens without a reason. And what I kept saying was there has to be a reason for the fire that I don't know about. And one of the many reasons was, number one, I got the bathroom I wanted. Right? I got my roof redone. I had used it, Sandy. I had used it. And I had said, there's a funny smell in the house when I use the fireplace. Guess why? All right, so let me just read here. Judy's saying, Lionel treated me to a bottle of orange blossom water to use in my baking. It had been on my wish list for a while. You see, for a baker, those sort of things are really important. By the way, now that I think about it, I have not unpacked the vanilla essence, remember? I haven't found that yet. Jeannie's saying, usually, hang on, what did Jeannie buy? I've got to go back a bit. Hang on a second. I'm a bit behind the 8 ball here. Well, I think it's about the tiramisu. She said it's usually about $13 at my grocery store. I found it for slightly more than $6. Yay, score. I think it's really important that you hear the story about Lionel's love in so many ways. I think one of the things I've always been in awe of whenever I talk to Jody and I talk and hear about Lionel, it is Lionel understands the little things. And guess what? Jody's greatest joy is to cook for Lionel. And, him getting her that orange blossom water, was orange blossom, was it? Yes, orange blossom water, ended up in a cake for him, so, it's the gift that keeps on giving. He's smart. He really is. So, do any of you have any questions just before I carry on? I've been taking copious notes, lots and lots of notes for you. I had the joy of finding Clarence the cleaner. Have you all seen him? I want to tell you, without a doubt, this is not a waste of money for me. I got him on sale. By the way, this is one of those times where, we talk about this a lot. When I wanted to get a robotic cleaner, I didn't go for the state of the art, the most modern one that there was. I went I want one that's probably just been replaced. Why? Because they'll be discounting them to get rid of them so that they can sell the new ones. And so I got that, and I got it on sale. Hang on a second. Okay, meet Clarence. Now, do you want me to show you how he works? Pray a little here. Hang on a second. he's trying to clean. He's trying to clean my whiteboard. Hang on a second. That doesn't work very well. I just want you to show you, because this is what everybody says. You can't see him right now. Hang on. Rats. Go that side, Clarence. Okay. You see, he doesn't fall off the. I don't know if you saw that, but he doesn't fall off the edge. He's got sensors. He's got little sensors underneath, and when they hit daylight, they stop him. So you probably, you know how much fun I have with parents. But to get him fired up, I didn't have to feed him for very long, probably about 6 hours, and his batteries were totally charged again, and I just sent him to work. And I want to tell you, it is amazing the job that he does, and that's why I love him. And my concern was, I now have some shag in the house. Remember from the 70s? And hang on a second. All right, so in the fireplace area, I have got some gray shag, but I wanted to show you that this is like, remember the fliccatis? And I was pretty sure that Clarence would not be able to cope with that. He would probably chew it up and stop. It works. He coped with it beautifully. So now I got a couple of smaller ones, so fluffy, yes. So now I got some smaller ones just to find out how it would work on the same principle where, as Jeannie said about go buy $5. I thought, well, if I get a couple of small ones and just find out if it works, then that would be good. And it works. Thank you, Clarence. Now, again, I don't consider Clarence to be a luxury for me, right? I want to tell you that for me, he is what makes my life easier. And I could spend $200 chasing a golf ball around the golf course very easily. But because I got him on sale and he wasn't this year's model, I got him for less than $200. And he has worked so hard. And really all you do, just so you know, this is his little tray. And by the way, if you've got anything that's got a HEPA filter on it, I use Swiffer dusters as a pre-filter for HEPA filters. It's just what I do. And that would be my tip for the day. Anything that I've got that's got a HEPA filter on it. But actually, I was going to show you how much he collected, but I can't because I've cleaned it. Duh. All right. So I just wanted to say that I think there are certain things in life where you go, what makes your life easier? What makes your life easier? And if you think about how much money you waste on makeup, all right, it doesn't take very much before you end up being able to afford something that makes your life easier. And so Sandy's asking, what make is he? He is called an iLife, like iRobot, but iLife. And I was so impressed with how well it worked that I bought Yvonne one. Now mine's called Clarence the Cleaner and hers is Vinny the Vacuum, because we call things. So, but can you imagine that? And you know what else I did, of course? When he'd finished cleaning the house, he still had plenty of battery left. So I just put him out on the deck. I've got a 29-foot deck that has had an awful lot of construction dust and everything else on it. And I just put him out there and let him do his thing, because I know he's not going to fall off the stairs either end. And it was so funny because whilst he was busy at work, somebody came to visit me. And he said, "What's that?" And I said, "No, it's Clarence, the cleaner." Never seen one. Now that I've done a whole week without TV, without CNN, I think occasionally I've popped in to see it on, via the internet. But yeah, I've just got a note from Betty Ann whether anybody's interested in ham supper on Monday. I have to answer that. Hang on, people. I mean, seriously. Am I interested in ham? No, I said, duh. That's like asking, do I want to breathe air today? Well, I want to tell you something that I'm talking about it because I've lived without my gizmos for 6 months. Yeah, exactly, Jody. That was my answer. Duh. And by the way, I found my dustbuster. Another thing that you don't probably think twice about, but I had two. I notice I've only got one now. So one of them must have been destroyed because it was in my bedroom. I've always had two dustbusters, one each end of the house, so you don't have to go far for a dustbuster. I have done without my telephone for 6 months, and now I'm beginning to wonder whether I should reinstall it. Because I've lived just with my cell phone. How many of you still have a landline? Yeah, Jeannie's saying turkey one night and now, ham dinner. Yeah, and I offered to do roast beef and Yorkshire pudding, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do roast beef and Yorkshire pudding and invite them over. Yeah. Sandy, by the way, thought you'd like to know that production is good. So Jody's got a landline, Sandy's still got a landline. I don't know why I like having a landline, but I do. Anyway, I thought I'd mention that. By the way, you remember I was talking about the guys that installed the shower doors and how meticulous they were about cleaning them. I did say to them, hey guys, if you'd like to come back every week and do that again, I'd be most appreciative. I've never seen anybody clean glass like that. And, be my guest. Yes, Sandy is saying that she still has a landline for emergency use, but it is expensive. I think that's why I have it as well. I just feel safer with a landline as well. All right, Nasha, good to see you. And hey, Nasha, if you've got any updates, please make sure you give them to us so we can share them, right? If you can't come to this evening's broadcast, give me an update so that I can let people know. Well, Sandy, I look at it this way. You're saying this is a very expensive broadcast because your dream list is growing, but do you understand, to me, I could have spent this on makeup very easily, all right? Quite honestly, if you think about it, how much money, and I want to tell you, I'm pretty sure that if you bother to look on Marketplace or something, there are probably people selling them, secondhand. Yes, and Jeannie's saying, she was talking about the great sales at the dollar store. She said she recently bought an oval Toastmaster crockpot, 5 quarts for $7.50, 70% off. You see, so this is the whole thing: is shop smart. Look at my mattress; it's a magical mattress. For my last mattress, I paid close to $1,000 for. And Jody's saying, I'm not discussing what I've spent on makeup. And that's why I'm saying, Jody, how much would you like a Clarence in your life? You know what I mean? It's like, think about these things. And exactly, Sandy's saying that's one trip to the salon for me, and I haven't been in a year and a half. So do you think you deserve one of these? So the whole point that I'm trying to say is I don't consider that a waste of money, right? I really don't consider it a waste of money. Look, my floors are clean and my hair falls out all the time, and you'll be amazed. I would say 50% of what Clarence picks up is my hair. I wondered about that. Nyasha's saying, I've been struggling a lot, hence my absence. That's not a good reason to be absent. That's a good reason to be here, Nyasha. I think I'm transitioning into an adult and I don't like it, but I'm hanging in there, and it's nothing worrying. It's just different. Nyasha, do you know what a friend of mine said to me one day, Nyasha? Because I want you to hear this, and maybe it'll make sense with what's going on. When I taught her what it was to be a grown-up as opposed to thinking like a child, she came back to me about 6 months later and she said, there's part of me that really hates you, Sal. And I said, okay, tell me more. And she said, ignorance was bliss. I don't like being an adult because I'm responsible for my own thinking, and I am responsible for changing my own life. And I am, and she went on, and I went, yeah. She said, I liked it better when I can blame everybody else. I don't know about you, Nyasha, but does it ring any bells? That it was easier before you realized. Okay, so we're sending you a big hug. You see, Sandy's saying adulting is no fun at times. I agree. Jeannie's saying, if it cleans well for you and it helps you, Clarence is a boon and not an extravagance. You see, that's the whole thing that I'm saying. So to me, I look at what am I not spending money on? I could have a hobby that was very, very expensive. But quite honestly, this came up high, and it was one of the first things I wanted to unpack, because you can imagine I just wanted to get. Yeah, I think I will. Hi, Sharon. I actually only use him a couple of times a week. And by the way, he also has a remote, like the bed, and I can even tell him to go home. You remember ET Go Home? Yeah, yeah. I can actually press a button and he'll go home, back to his docking station. And when he's cleaning, when he's running out of battery, he automatically goes home. Yeah, not only is he self-charging, he knows where to find the charger. He's like so smart. It's like the buttons on my bed now, right? Zero gravity. Okay, I can handle that. Now, there was a moment where I thought to myself, I definitely am a technology geek. I understand that. I love technology. And it's like, when we saw this on the Jetsons, we thought they were being funny, didn't we? And I'm going, how would I live without Clarence? And by the way, you're probably wondering, oops, lost my notes. Hang on a second. You're probably wondering, does he do windows? No, but do you know what he does? You're not going to like this, guys. He does floors. No. What you do is you take out this little doodad, and he's got another little thing that you put water in. He mops. Yeah. You put water in it, and then he goes the water onto the floor, and then underneath here, there's a special pad that fits onto here. So what's not to love? I want to say that being back in the community is just so settling for me. It's been an interesting week. Funny enough, I've done an awful lot of steps. I haven't done obviously another marathon, but I've done a pretty good job of the number of steps just in unpacking. So Sharon's saying, when I get new flooring, I will be getting a Clarence. By the way, he does carpets, and as I was saying, he even went over this. Now that's pretty. You want to see him do that? I reckon that was pretty good. Actually, this will probably slide, but anybody want to see him do it? The kid in me is bad, right? Yes, interesting. Sandy is saying, in a way, what happened to you has brought you closer to your neighbors. Yes. And I found out they genuinely miss me. Isn't that wonderful? Fingers crossed. By the way, I can control him. Maybe. All right, I had to save a water jug because he was pushing a water jug to the edge. Yeah, go that way. No, go the other way. Okay, the problem is he's on a slidey floor here. Hang on. Let me just hold this down. When he's on the floor, he goes over it because he doesn't move. But here it's moving. This way, this way, this way, this way. There you go. All right, now what's happened is he's trying to turn, but he also knows there's a drop here. So he's smart enough to turn himself off. Clever. Okay, but when he's flat on the ground, no problem. As you could probably see, he just went straight across it. There is the line. So, hi, Kerry, and happy Easter to you as well. And anybody got any big plans for Easter? And I say that, I mean, obviously lots of religious plans, but I just wondered if anybody's, how are you feeling? This is now the second Easter in pandemic times. And, you know, I wondered, it wasn't a good idea. I was trying to get my phone to turn around. Nearly had a major accident. All right, where are my notes here? Yeah, about the neighbors. It definitely told me that they miss me a lot more than I realized, but in a nice way, right? They missed my chaos. And I thought it was so cute. One of them texted me yesterday and said, "Hey, Sal, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to pack up stuff for the Sally Ann." And she said, what I realized was I need a box. And I'm going, I don't have any big enough. And I'm going, I know who does. So I said, come on over. You know, I've got quite a selection of sizes for you. And by the way, the very big boxes that I've got that, you know, sort of like 2 cube, I'm cutting a couple of those panels as canvases because, you know, I like to paint on those. I was concerned that the bed might not be high enough. And I did a bit of research into that. Did any of you know there is a right height for your bed? And the reason I say that is because as I get older, obviously, I want to make sure that I'm doing the best I can for my body. And I didn't know that there is a right height for your bed. Also, you might want to think about it, a right height for your couches. And the best way to find out is to measure in bare feet, measure the distance between the floor and your knees, the top of your knees, because that is the height that you need. Now, if you are sitting on a couch and you have a husband who is, you know, 6'5", obviously you're going to need to have a happy medium between the two heights. But if you are have a chair that only you sit on, you might want to think about measuring that and seeing how high should it be. And what was amazing to me, that when the bed arrived and I got the mattress on it, it was just perfect. It was exactly the right height. When I sat on the mattress, it was exactly the right height. So let me just try and draw that for you. So it was a learning moment for me, and maybe for you as well. You know, I'm looking for the magic pen. Oh, well, can't find the one. There it is. All right, so if you think about it, if this is the side of the bed, and if you're sitting on it, okay, the ideal height is whatever the distance is between your flat feet and your knees. Got it? And what I decided to do, just out of interest, was to find out what is happening on my couches, because my couches are pretty old. You know, they've been around 20 years or so. And I took, I've got a level on my phone. I've got a spirit level on it. And what I found out was that when I sit down on my couch, if these are my legs, this is what's happening from my knees to my butt, right? It's doing this. So this part from the knees to my butt are dropping quite away. And so what I think I'm going to do is to buy extra foam and put it at the back of my couches to build that couple of inches back up again. Because if you think about it, that's a big strain on your knees and also a big strain when you're trying to get back up again. So what I'd like to do is to be able to change that angle. Now, part of it also is you're probably thinking, well, you know, maybe if you lifted the couches up, you can buy risers for your couches. I've got a feeling that for me, I need new foam underneath just to give it a bit more strength. It's just, you know, I had 20 years of me sitting on it. What can I say? But I certainly didn't know that there was a right height for a bed. And I'm glad that I did a bit of research because I found that out. And just by pure coincidence, it ended up exactly the right height. If your bed isn't the right height, then you know you can buy risers if you need to bring it up a bit. Jodie's saying, I put extra foam on the seat of my recliner to boost the height. Yes. And how does it feel? Is it more comfortable for you? And you can buy that extra foam at Walmart or somewhere, right? It's not a big expense, but it's a way more, it's kinder on your body. Now, you will also know that I came home to my big washer. Now, for those of you who don't know the story, in this house, when I bought it, it has a washer in it that is big enough. I know you're not going to believe this, because who would? But it's big enough to take a comforter and the sheets and the pillowcases all at one time. And then still have room for something else. You know, I mean, I've never seen on a residential washer, I have never seen a tub that big. Now, let me show you what else. This is my front door mat, and it was disgusting after 6 months of being out and people walking all over it. And guess what I did? I just folded it. I just folded it this way, and I just made a loop around in the washer like this. Did it other way up, like this, and I let it wash, and it did it beautifully. And it's clean again. That is a big washer. Yes, I agree. So I just want to tell you, I've had 6 months in a little apartment washer, and I'm going, this couldn't even, it's like, there are no ways would it even take Pat's quilt if I wanted to do. Jeannie's saying, the bed in the apartment is high. Often I hit my knees on it. My left knee is still a bit swollen, painful. I'm going to the chiropractor after Easter. You know, again, think about this. Mind you, you're going back to your own new bed, so you'll be able to get one at the right height, hopefully. But I think if you have got a high bed, that it's a really good idea to invest on a step that you step on before you try and get onto bed. I found that the bed where I was staying, I'm 5'7". I am a tall human. You know, for a woman, I'm pretty tall. But I want to tell you that I had to crawl onto that bed to be able to get on it. And that is, you know, quite honestly, not a good thing for me. I do want to tell you that I have had a few disasters this week. To be expected, right? And that's what I like to think of, to think that everything would go right would be unrealistic. So I lost my Norfolk pine tree that I had been given by a friend of mine, since departed, but and she gave me a little Norfolk pine tree. It was this big. It was just a seedling almost when I got it. And it took me 20 years to grow it to about this size. And they put it outside and it didn't like the weather because it was used to growing inside, or they didn't give it water or whatever. But anyway, it's dead. And so I'm sad about that, but it is what it is. And in terms of the, you know, Boy George and the Culture Club, I lost one of those as well, but that's okay. And, you know, I look at it and go, aren't I lucky? Really, when you think about it, of all the things, you know, I've lost a couple of small things, but, you know, how lucky have I been, really? Sandy's saying adults are allowed to receive gifts for Easter, right? Yeah, if you make that a tradition, why wouldn't you? Well, you know, it's I mean, if I really wanted it, I could get another Norfolk pine, right? But I just look at it and go, okay, fine. That lived in the area where I now want to put a television, so I'm going to not worry too much about it. Jody's saying to Sandy, I hear the Easter Bunny likes to deliver robotic cleaners. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think you deserve it, Sandy. You see, but I really do want to say this, that, you know, guys, you've got to think about where you waste money and, you know, what the difference is. For example, I like eating steak. I don't know about you guys. But, you know, my treat, my comfort food is a steak, you know, with caramelized onions. And I made that last night. Here's what I found out. And this is just why I say to you, it's important that we talk about how do we save the money to get the things that we want to play with, right? And I don't think that Clarence the cleaner is a plaything. He's a workhorse. And he just keeps the house looking like I love it dearly, which I do, but I don't like sweeping and mopping and doing things like that. So that's what I got Clarence for. But you know, you look at it and you think about how much money you spend in other areas. And you go, really, is that what you want to do with your money? When you could be getting something that makes your life so much easier and lasts so much longer, right? Jeannie's saying our home had a lovely shrubbery, flowers, etc. all gone. And that will be last to replace. We still do have flowers away from the house in our front. The fire did not take that. Yes, you know, I've come back and, you know, my garden, quite honestly, Jeannie, my garden at the front is looking pretty sparse, or sparse rather. And I'm going to let that not worry me this year. Right. I know some of the bulbs are coming up and that's good. And that's why I like having bulbs, because you don't have to work on them. And so I know some of the bulbs. You remember the Lady Gardener rose that my sister gave me? That's coming, that's looking good. My other rose, and I probably will get a couple of rose trees because I do love roses. So, and my peonies that didn't flower last year because of the move, I think, I'm hoping that they will flower this year. We'll find out. You know, this is just like, I have no idea whether they'll flower. They didn't flower last year. It's all a big experiment, and it's all exciting if I want it to be. You know what I mean? It's like I have learned so much in the last 6 months, and I've learned to appreciate how much I appreciated Clarence the Cleaner. I look at it because I'm sorry, I'm bursting out laughing. Sandy's writing to Jodie and saying, Jodie said that she thought it would be a good idea if she got a cleaner. And it said, that's good to hear, because I just see that Clarence sibling is available with coupon on Amazon. How much is it going for? By the way, please make sure you go through the DearMamaSal link to get to it. When I say that, go anywhere. Yeah, that link that Jodie puts up, just go into there and then go find the cleaner again. Actually, you're in Canada, so that doesn't. $2.99 less $60. You see, for $250, I want to tell you that I don't know how big your house is. Right? I don't know how big your house is, but I very much doubt you would ever hate me for it. I bet you talk to the thing like I do, and I bet you go, how did I live without it? That's the whole thing. I just go, Clarence, where are you? I got to find Clarence. All week I was unpacking boxes. Somewhere here, Clarence is in one of these boxes. And of course, I forgot that he was electronics. So he was in one of the electronics boxes, because they sent all my electronics out to be cleaned professionally. Oh, good question. Kimmy's asking what happened to your paintings. They're actually my bedhead at the moment. You're talking all my, the small ones or the big ones? And the reason I say that is because, hang on, I'm going to show you this. All my paintings are in boxes. Hang on, people. Okay, so you see all my pillows there. They're leaning against big boxes of paintings. It's called multitasking. I didn't want all those big boxes in my bedroom at the moment. They were in my way, and I thought I'll turn them into a headboard. And then, one day I will unpack them. But I got a lot of unpacking to do before I get to that. So it actually works quite well if you look at it. See? Mrs. MacGyver. Did you see my bookcases? Hang on, my wardrobe. Hang on. Where's my wardrobe? For those of you who might not have seen it, I turned all the packing boxes into a sorting area for my clothes. Because I need to get new units for all these clothes, and I thought, before I do that, let me get it all out and it's sorted like this, find out what I need to throw away, and then I will know what I need to buy. Make sense? And so far, I'm actually quite pleased. My big achievement was to build this unit. And in fact, it's got another row of boxes on it now. I put another row of boxes on it. And that's in my studio. So I'm nearly at the stage where I can start unpacking the boxes in my studio, because I now have somewhere to put the stuff. So that's another thing. Oh, that's a good thing. You remember last week I was saying how I used the bubble wrap. I used the bubble wrap as window covering, netting, if you like, in my craft room. The guy came in this week. I didn't realize that had happened. My restoration guy was a little bit stunned at that. And so what I said was take out the window coverings you put in my bedroom because they belong in the craft room. And then I have asked for blackout curtains in my bedroom because I had that in the apartment and I loved them. It's funny, isn't it? For somebody that loves light, I just found that having those blackout curtains in the bedroom when you went to bed, you knew that it was bedtime. It was great. And if you wanted to sleep in, the light wasn't waking you up. So I've decided to do the same thing with that. Do any of you have blackout curtains? And I did know that I didn't want those panel curtains again in my bedroom, because when I was trying to get out of that bedroom in a hurry, those things were not quick. I just literally had to pull them down and throw them aside. And I have to be grateful for the fact I could do that, but I literally pulled them off and threw them away because I need to get out of this room. I'm breathing toxic smoke, and that's not a good thing. So there we go. Lots of feelings this week, but the most important one perhaps was that of gratitude. What about you guys? What's your most prevalent feeling this week? I feel so grateful, not only for my friends, but also for the humor. The neighbor that slammed the door on me as soon as he saw it was me. I don't know why. I thought that was the greatest gift of love, because you wouldn't do that to somebody that you didn't think had a good sense of humor, right? I mean, he literally opened the door and, oh, you. And so to me, it's those little things that mean a lot. I just said to Betty Ann, I found out that whilst I used to bake them bread, they both decided that they're not going to eat bread anymore because they're both diabetic. And even though my sourdough doesn't spike, but anyway, so now I said, now what do I do? I've been happy to bring bread each week, but now if nobody wants it, but I think I'll still take bread for the meal. Yeah, something they have rules, so I can still do that. But it's like, I think it's really important to understand that it's the little things that mean a lot to me. Betty Ann gave me these incredible fuzzy socks for Christmas. And what I realized was every time I go to visit her, I go to find those fuzzy socks so I can put them on when I'm inside her house. And I said to her this week, why do I keep bringing them? Why don't I just leave them here? They're my socks, I'm just going to leave them here so I can put them on when I come to visit. Because they're so nice and warm. I love them. So I look at this week and go, it's been hard. I don't mind telling you, it's been hard on my body. I am interested to get one of the televisions working again so I can get the Wii hooked up. I want to find out, because that's also my scale. I want to find out, did I lose any weight in all of this? I want to take a second, Jody, because I think you found this as well. Have I discussed with you what I call the Anderson Cooper diet? And the reason I want to talk about it is because I'm amazed how well it works. Jody's going, for her, the feeling she has for the week is gratitude. I'm taking time every day to reflect on my blessings. I like to start the day to ensure I move forward, being conscious of staying in positivity. Yes, good. It's like, if I think about your mindset when I met you, Jody, I just am amazed that I got to meet you. But I look at it now and all the steps you're taking towards living instead of dying. And, you're about to have the surgery and all of that. You know, it's really amazing. All right, so I want to talk a bit about what I call the Anderson Cooper diet. I was reading something about Anderson Cooper of CNN, and what he said in this interview was people laugh at him because he eats the same thing every day. But the reason he does is he knows he can eat that and not put on weight. You know, he's found out this is what I can eat for breakfast, this is what I can have for lunch, and this is what I can have. Now, he obviously goes out and has dinner every now and then, right? And all those sort of things. You can't be who he is without those sort of things happening. But he has learned that if he stays on this regimen, that this is what he has for breakfast, this is what he has for lunch, and this is what he has most of the time for dinner, but then he also goes has dinner out occasionally, that he can keep his weight under control. Yeah, Sandy's saying the same thing. My breakfast and lunch are always the same. And that is the trick. I have found that I can eat my sourdough bread. I can have even 2 slices because the slices are that size. All right. I can actually have 2 slices of sourdough with peanut butter or Marmite for breakfast, whatever time I choose to have breakfast. And sometimes I just have one, and that's fine. It depends, you know, how much energy I'm using up. And then I know for lunch I'm going to have a salad. And that, you know, and I have feta cheese on it, and I sprinkle bacon on it sometimes, you know, whatever I want. But I know that is my lunch, that I can have that. By the way, I also found out that I fill up my snack box with grapes and a few crackers and some cheese. Oh, and in here I put some nuts or raisins. All right. And that is my snack box. And I keep that with me at the computer. So whenever I sit down at the computer, if I feel like a snack, I can finish the box every day. So what I've discovered, if you remember, I was struggling with my blood glucose after Christmas. I couldn't get the sugar content down. I'm pleased to tell you it was down. It's down. Hang on, I've got to do that in American. I've brought it from being consistently in about, I guess for a while, it was as high as, around Christmas time, it must have been up in about the I would say about the 150 range, which in Canadian would be 8.4. I was up that high consistently over Christmas with the sugar and stress and everything else. I am now down into the mid to high 5.9, sort of, I think it was 5.7 this morning. And that would be about 102 in American. So, you know, it's like, and what has done that? Eating the same thing every day. And allowing myself to go and really pick out when I go to Betty Ann's, you know, and have dessert. I've also found out my new dessert that works really well for me is I have some yogurt protein, and I put a teaspoon of Schmuckers make a no sugar added jam. And I put a teaspoon of that in with the yogurt, and it tastes like heaven. You know, it takes away the bitterness of the yogurt, but it also, you know, has a great taste to it. And that is my go-to dessert. I've also found out, and I don't know why, that chocolate doesn't spike me the way that carbs do. And so what I've learned to do is I buy slab chocolate. You know, you can buy it in the supermarket, like in a slab like this. And what I do is I just will, cut that into a couple of little bits, and I put that in with my snack thing at night. Jody's saying, my main meal every day is chicken breast, cottage cheese, and unsweetened applesauce. Ah, thank you, Sandy. Sandy's saying it's a fact. It's the fat in the chocolate. That's why they say not to use it to treat a low. Ah, see, we learn things every day. So I found out that, having that, now, you compare it and you go, what I also found out, for example, is sometimes I will have nuts because I know that's, I just take, I got little baby mason jars, and I'll just put about half this of nuts as a treat in the evening. And sometimes I'll even put in a few raisins, but raisins are, hang on. Yeah, they're 11% glucose. And 24 grams of sugar. Sounds so good, doesn't it? I gotta have some right now. But you see, now I will take a little handful and I'm happy. I think the trick is to find out what you can eat. Remember, that's my goal in life always. Don't tell me what I can't do. Tell me what I can. I found out that making a muffin was actually far less dangerous than a lot of things. So every now and then, I'll make myself a muffin. Kimmy's saying, very true. I can eat chocolate and it doesn't spike me either. But I don't eat it all the time. That's right. So the same thing. I know that these are high in sugar. But doesn't mean I can't have them. This means have a few, enjoy them. My mommy is shouting at me, don't talk with your mouth full, so. So, so picky, so good. So I look at it and go, I'm so glad that I read that about Anderson Cooper because it works. And, it is good to know that I can do this every day and not feel guilty. So if you look at it, find out what you can eat. I don't believe in dieting. I believe in lifestyle. And if you told me I couldn't have sourdough bread every morning, I would say, oh, really? I think I can. It actually is less dangerous for me than eating oats. And we know oats are not bad for you. So, it's just a personal thing about what do you want to eat? And just don't eat too much. And I found that having that routine saves me a lot of money at the grocery store. And I don't know about you, Jody, but I found knowing that that's what I need to eat, I don't need to buy as much. By the way, eating coleslaw as a salad on some days, it switches that up. And I do add, a few raisins in with my coleslaw. So it's all about adjustments. But it is like, know that this works. And if this works, it's okay. And so here I brought my blood sugar down from the 8s at Christmas regularly down to I'm now in the high fives, and last week it was in the sixes. Now it's in the fives. So it's worked, and we are only. When did I start this, Jody? A month ago. By the way, I spoke to my doctor this week because I'm out of medication. It was so funny because one of the things I said to my doctor, I said, you probably need to know that I have been exercising and I have done 5 marathons in 5 weeks in terms of the number of steps. And he said, what? I said, I've done 56,000 steps for 5 weeks. He said, really? 56,000 is a marathon? And I said, yes. He said, I didn't know that. He said, because he's the one that didn't have a Fitbit until I told him about mine. And now he has one. And so he says, I'm going to be keeping track of that, Sal. Thank you. Jody's saying, I'm having Reese's peanut butter egg on Sunday. It'll spike me, but I'm having it, and with a lot of protein for dinner. Yes, you see, and this is the whole thing. It's about know what you can eat. And Jody's saying, yes, we've been saving money on my part of the groceries for sure. So look at it and go, little things mean a lot in terms of how do you do this? And I have not found myself hungry. All right. And that is the amazing thing to me. I have not found myself hungry. I'm basically having a slice of bread with peanut butter for breakfast. And then I will have a salad later on in the day, and then I'll have a meal at night. But I have noticed that even last night, when I had my steak, I actually had a cup of mashed potato. It tasted so good. What's wrong with that? Because I'm not doing it all wrong the rest of the time, that I can do that, and my body is beginning to process it better. So I look at it and go, we can continue to fight these things, but I want to go back to something Nyasha said. Remember, I made a decision, a conscious decision after Christmas when I couldn't get my blood sugar under control. I need to up my exercise. Remember I said that? And that's when I started doing, that's actually true, Jody. That's when I started doing this, right? Was I said I need to up my steps to 8,000 a day and see if it affects everything. And I think it has. I don't know about my weight yet, but I think it has. I can see that if I do 8,000 steps a day and eat the way that I'm eating, that has brought my blood sugar down. So that's the price. If I want to eat more, I'm going to have to do more exercise. Do you get my logic? That's being adult. It's not that I can't eat anything. It's like, am I compensating the intake with the stuff that burns it up? You cannot sit on your butt all day long and eat candy, right? And just, it's an accident waiting to happen. And so I look at it and find that also know what is the sugars that you can eat. For example, I found that the caramel sauce, is a stevia type thing. So if I want to have yogurt with caramel sauce, I can. All right. It's not going to do me a whole lot of harm because it is that, what do you call it? Alcohol sugar. Is that what it's called, Jody? I never know the name for these things. But, it's like it doesn't spike me. So I can, put some of that on top, and it feeds that need for something sweet. I'm getting there slowly. And I think that you guys have taught me so much. I'm so grateful for Sandy and Jody and everybody else and Kimmy, all you guys that have talked to you about your experience, because I think it is because we share this stuff. And I think about Beth and all that she started me on this, protein box from Starbucks that she always picked up every day. And I went, I could do that. I could make myself a little protein box like that. And which is now, you know, my bento box, right? And I, sometimes I'll have a boiled egg in there. I always try and make sure I got cheese or some sort of protein in there to make sure I've got that covered. But, a little snack that's balanced is okay. It's about the snacks that I was eating where it was constantly bad that was causing the problem. So I'm happy. I'm happy that because of what we've shared that I learned so much. And Jody, it was interesting to me, and Sandy and everybody else that's diabetic, Kimmy, all of you that have helped me along the way. I was talking to my doctor about the fact that he said to me, your A1C, I said, it's booked for the 7th. I'm having it on Wednesday. I said, I'm sorry, I would have had it done before this discussion, except that I had to wait a month to get in. But, it's happening on the 7th. It's the same day I'm having my Dr. Fauci ouchie. And I so love that. My Dr. Fauci ouchie number 1 is going to happen also on the 7th. So I'm going to be vaccinated with my first one. And I'm quite excited about that. Yes, Jody's saying, I remember when we first tried the carrots with peanut butter and honey. And I've got to tell you something, Jody, that still is a beautiful treat. I have to say that every now and then I will do that again because I love that so much. If you haven't had peanut butter and honey as a dip. Of course, now I'm going, that's a lot of sugar in that honey. But, every now and then, a little bit is not going to hurt you. So that is, the way that I look at it. And so I sort of, when I have these discussions with my doctor now, I find that I am feeling more accountable. And I'm not as worried about my A1C this time. I know it might be a little higher than normal, but that's okay. I'm hoping that I've got it under control enough. But, it's just like, we'll see. And I also think about it, which is, here I am pre-diabetic, and I'm not on any metformin or anything. I am doing this purely by my eating habits, that I'm keeping myself pre-diabetic, not diabetic. And I'm proud of myself for that. And I'm the one I need to please, not my doctor, right? If you think about it, it's, in the old days, I would always want him to be pleased with me. But now it's just like, I need to be pleased with me. Jody, you must be so proud of yourself with what you have done. And Kimmy, I think about all that you've been through in the last year, and you've had a pretty tough year as well. Or Jeannie with her year, and she's been through that devastating total loss of her home. It's pretty amazing that we're even still sane. You know what I mean? It's like, be grateful for who you are, because you are tough cookies, right? You've been to hell and back and survived it. And I think that is something about which you need to be really proud. And you've had a lot of feelings go through your body. Not all of them good, I'm sure. You've had a lot of fear. You've had a lot of disappointment. You have had a lot of heartache. And you have survived it. Judy's saying that the DearMamaSal family has helped a lot. Well, you have helped us a lot, Jeannie. And I'm reminding you that just the fact that you are here every week telling us that you're taking one step closer to getting back into your house, I'm hoping the fact that I've got back into mine, and I've still got stuff going on, Jeannie, as I'm sure you know. I'm still having discussions about certain things, but I'm trying to do it with a good grace. All right. I'm trying not to get angry anymore. I'm trying to learn I can do this. I can be firm, fair, and friendly and still get the things sorted out. I don't have to become a screaming banshee. And I don't want to be. I didn't like that about myself, quite honestly. And in a way, I think maybe all this that I've been through is to teach me that I've come this far. So here we go, another Friday lunchtime, coping with feelings of the week. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about coping with life as usual. And if there's any subject about which you'd like me to talk, let me know right now so that when I sit down to put it together, that I can bear that in mind. If there's anything you're struggling with where I could help you with anything, let me know. And I will do what I can to put that into the broadcast for you. I look at our lives and say we are duly grateful and truly blessed on this Good Friday to have each other. You know, to have a group of people who consistently get together and talk about their stuff is so important. It is the very fabric of what keeps us going and makes us sure that we are not alone. I found that keeping in touch with my neighbors while I was gone became a priority. All right. I made sure that every now and then I dropped them all an email and just say, hey, just so you know. And I didn't mind if they didn't write to me. That wasn't my concern. My concern was, am I keeping in touch with them? Do they know I still care about them? Whether they write to me or not is not the issue to me. This is like, I want them to know they still are in my mind and I care about them. And I made sure that at least every couple of weeks or so, I would send them an email and update them and tell them I missed them and, what I missed about them. Because to me, that was important. And I can really feel the difference. And by the way, the embarrassment where one of my neighbors, and where I could remember her husband's name, but do you think I could remember her name? And she has such a great sense of humor. And it was just amazing because she stopped to talk to me yesterday and she was chit-chatting away. And at the end of it, I said, I am so sorry. I know your husband's Dave and you are. She looked at me and said, Barb, Sal. And I said, yeah, I know you remembered my name and I am, please don't take it personally. Please don't take it personally. Because I hope you know by the way I was talking to you that I love you dearly. I just couldn't for the life of me remember your name. And she just laughed and it was delightful. Yes, it is also Passover. Thank you, Jeannie, for reminding us of that. And so for those of you, different religions, different festivities, but the main thing is we are all in a grateful mood and we are all in a mood of great gratitude for not only what we have, what we could have. What changes do you need to make in your life so that you can have the things you really want? And that's why I say to you, be very aware where you're spending your money. And, could you be spending it in a way, not spending more, but just reallocating the money you're presently spending elsewhere and going, something? I don't really need to spend as much money on this thing. Yeah, Jeannie's saying I gave French filter fish to try. Yeah, you see, it's all these things are traditions, aren't they? And, it is really important. I wish you a very happy Passover season. And for all of those of you who are celebrating Easter, a very happy Easter weekend. We will be back tonight with Coping with Life. And then again on Sunday afternoon here in Southern British Columbia at Pacific time, we will be back again talking about stress. And if any of you, as I said, if any of you got anything in particular you'd like me to talk about, drop me a line at DearMamaSal@gmail.com. And I will do what best I can to include that in one of the broadcasts coming up. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you are as happy to see this as I am. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, look after one another. And thank you all so much for looking after me. That was a gift I did not expect, but you did a great job of looking after me when the wheels came off my life. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, thanks for that. Bye bye for now.